My name's Dave Savigny, and I'm a council person for Lexington, Fayette-Ermine County Government, and I happen to be also the chief steward of this project at St. Raphael's that's called Tobit's Trace. And I want to welcome you to our beautiful site in the back of our building at 1891 Parker's Mill Road. Back in the 70s, St. Raphael's purchased this 5 acres and built the church on the front acre or two, and always had this 2 or 3 acres in the back that were not utilized well. They were underutilized pieces of land. The neighbors used to use them to graze their horses, and slowly over time, the small stream that was here became overrun with honeysuckle and other invasive species. So back about 7 or 8 years ago, I contacted the Friends of Wolf Run because this piece of land was so underutilized that I felt like if we're really going to do creation care at St. Raphael's, this was something that I probably needed a little bit of help on. And I heard about this group called Friends of Wolf Run, and I contacted Ken Cook, and he came to visit me about 2 weeks before a grant was due. And we kind of on the back of the napkin kind of figured out how we could take this space and make it an outdoor classroom and an educational experience and clean up this stream. So we got to work very quickly and wrote the grant, and we're very fortunate to be able to get it. When you work with a group like Friends of Wolf Run, they always need a chief steward or a person on site that's going to actually manage the project. So Ken and I discussed it, and I guess I was the nominating committee of one, and I became the chief steward of this project. And I was really excited to do it. Ken also encouraged me to look at other grants. There's LFUCG has educational grants, and I was able to apply for an educational grant at the same time because we not only wanted to clean up the stream, we wanted to find an easy way for people to get down into this space to learn about what we were doing here and learn about stormwater and what a good stream looks like. And so we were fortunate. We applied and also received a grant on the educational side for this project. And the rest is kind of what you see right here. So one of the things that we did right away is we went to UK to try to find a student landscape architect, and we found one in Joseph Browning, who was a great assistant. He helped us draw up what we could do in the space and how we could manage it to be an outdoor classroom, as well as provide the functional needs that we needed to clean up the stream and have good stormwater. We happened to have at St. Raphael's a web designer named Amy Smerick, and Amy did a great job at putting together the web tools that we use to actually educate people as they come through. And if you go through to our website at sreclex.org and look up Tobit's Trace, you can find a detailed way to educate yourself through a series of stations along the trail. So we had a series of volunteers from St. Raphael's. We had Joseph Browning, our landscape architect student in residence, and Amy, our web designer, doing the web pieces. And we ended up contracting with a company called Skybacks. And Skybacks is really known for their ability to take areas that are kind of overgrown and wild and make them a more pleasant, naturalized environment. So that's what they did. They helped us clear cut all the honeysuckle that was an invasive. They've helped us with poison hemlock. They've helped us replenish and reform all the space so that it's got much more native species that are naturally found here in Lexington. And that's basically our project team. We also have a group of volunteers that occasionally come down and clean up the trail. try to keep things at bay. One of the issues that sometimes comes up when you try to bring a space back into use that wasn't used for a long time, you have neighbors that are around you that always liked things the way they were, and then they don't quite understand what your goals are when you're trying to bring something back and make it a more useful space. So we did have to work with the neighbors quite a bit to kind of educate them on what we were doing, as well as when you're bringing back a grass, like normal grass, and you want to make it more of a savanna look, you've got to educate your neighbors on, hey, it's going to look a little wilder back there, but we're going to clear cut it a few times a year, and we're going to try to keep it off the fence so that the perimeter of your property looks nice, but still realizing that we're trying to get to a better buffer around a stream so that we can do a better job with water absorption that's coming off of our parking lot, keeping things in check. It just doesn't always look like a manicured lawn or a golf course. And that process takes a little while, but it's well worth the effort when you can kind of bring your neighbors along. I would basically tell other people, if they're interested in doing a project like this, it seems a little bit overwhelming when you first look at these projects, but to be honest with you, there's just a series of steps to do that you can actually clean up a stream fairly easily. And I would encourage you to reach out to organizations like Friends of Wolf Run. I would talk to our Division of Water Quality at LFUCG, because we have grants that are infrastructure grants, backyard grants, education grants, all of which can be utilized to basically take a space that's a little bit wild and out of control and kind of make it a better place for streams and stormwater to live and do what they're supposed to do. So I would encourage you to reach out to the people that are experts and talk to them, because there's so many opportunities for you. This is on our church property, but it was deliberately done as an external piece of real estate so that people can come experience nature and experience care of creation in a different way that doesn't require them to enter the building. So please come to 1891 Parkers Mill Road, park out back, take a little walk down the trail, use the interactive tools to understand what stormwater is all about. We'd love to have you. You're all welcome.